पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गुरु महाराज की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Nandapriya Narmada Devi Dasi from Charlotte, welcoming all of you to the Bhakti Sangha conference call. I thank everyone for attending this session. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy names which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva in the Padma Purana. Number 1, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Number 2, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. Number 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Number 4, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. Number 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. Number 6, to give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. Number 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. Number 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. Number 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Number 10, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining the Bhakti Sangha call today. Let us move to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. Prior to that, may I know who all have joined the call this morning?
हरे कृष्ण नंद प्रिय नर्मदा माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीतिदासी फ्रॉम शार्लोट हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Daksha from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvindaksha Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Nandapriya Narmada Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. This is Shamaguri Devi Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shama Gauri Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Nandapriya Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj and all the assembled devotees on the call. This is Harita from Missouri City, Texas, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Harita Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna and Priya Narmada Mataji. Oh God, Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Nandapriya Narmada Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Nandapriya Narmada Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. This is Sushmita from Canada.
Hare Krishna, Sushmita Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Nandapriya Narmada Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. And my humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. This is Raghu from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hare Krishna, Raghu Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the call, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Nanda Priya Narmada Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Sanita Ramya from Sharjah, all tourist audit services. Nice DP Mataji as always. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Ramya Mataji. Then our pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Are there any other devotees who would like to introduce themselves? Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Keshavanand Prabhuji with us to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, 11th Chapter, 29th Sloka. Yeah, before handing over the call to Prabhuji, I would like to ask Sushmita Mataji to go ahead and give a brief introduction about Prabhuji. Mataji, please take over.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. Today we are so fortunate to have His Grace Keshavananda Prabhuji as our speaker. Prabhuji was a professional doctor for many years and he is now a practicing monk. Since the last 20 years, he has conducted extensive research and authored books in the field of science and spirituality. He feels the rift between science and spirituality must disappear to bring peace in the world. If spirituality is a superstition and myth, science is materialistic and atheist. A new approach to life is needed today that can bring the best of both science and spirituality. Science must re-embrace spirituality and be humble to admit its defect, flaws, and ignorance. And spirituality must base itself on sound scientific and rational ideas. Keshavananda Prabhuji has studied both Vedic and Western philosophy. Besides learning Sanskrit, he has also learned Bengali, Gujarati, Marathi, and Kannada to know about other traditions. His persistent endeavor in the field of science and spirituality has enabled him to come up with seminars on diverse topics like science and Vedas, mind and machines, science fails to explain life, consciousness, and beyond, etc., that he has presented in various colleges in India, Europe, and America, under the guidance of his spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj. He has also started a Gurukul, a traditional system of Vedic education in Punjab, India, where children learn the ancient Vedic culture and values. Besides, he has started a farm community. The community has a traditional way of living with mud, huts, with cows, and of course farming. The communities will set a model for the world to show how to live a life based on the principle of simple living and high thinking. This was a brief introduction of Prabhuji. Mataji, I will hand over the call to you. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the introduction. Prabhuji is on the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your very valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, whenever you're ready, please take over the call, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So we are reading 7:11:29. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yapatim Hari Bhavena Bhaje Shri Riva Tatpara. Hare Ratmana Hare Loke Patya Shri Riva Modate. Translation. Woman who engages in the service of her husband, following strictly in footsteps of Goddess of Fortune, surely returns home back to Godhead with her devotee husband and lives very happily in Vaikuntha planets. Purport. The faithfulness of the Goddess of Fortune is ideal for a chaste woman. Brahmsamhita says Lakshmi Sat Samra Sevyaman. Vaikuntha planets, Lord Vishnu is worshipped by many thousands of Goddess of Fortune. Golok Vrindavan, Lord Krishna is worshipped by many thousands of gopis, all of whom are Goddess of Fortune. Woman should serve her husband as faithfully as Goddess of Fortune. Man should be an ideal servant of Lord. A woman should be an ideal wife like Goddess of Fortune. Then both husband and wife will be so faithful and strong, and by acting together they will return home back to Godhead, without a doubt. In this regard, Sri Madhvacharya gives this opinion. Harirasmin sita iti strinam bhartari bhavana shishyanam cha gurau nityam shudranam brahmanadishu prityanam swamini tatha hari bhava udirita. Women should think of her husband as the Supreme Lord. Similarly, disciples should think of spiritual master as Supreme Personality of Godhead. A Shudra think of a Brahman as Supreme Personality of Godhead. And a servant should think of his master as Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this way, all of them will automatically become devotees of Lord. The words, by thinking this way, they will become Krishna consciousness. Okay. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guru Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Bhavane Namaste Saraswate Gaurvani Praja Visheshunyavadi Vaishnav. So, this is a verse which is talking about, let's see, Ya Patim Hari Bhavena, that a woman should worship her husband as equal to Lord Hari. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. Now, equal to Lord Hari means Bhajet Shrir Eva Tatpara. Equal to Lord Hari means just like we say Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastrir. So, spiritual master is as good as Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, similarly, but at the same time, he's not Saksha, he's not Supreme Personality of Godhead. Guru is not Supreme Personality of Godhead, but Kintu Prabhu Harya Priya Vadasya. But because he's so much dear to God, that is why Krishna, God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he thinks him a spiritual master to be equal to him. That's, by the way, that's the nature of love. In love, they become one. That is why it is said, Shakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastra. Sakshat, Guru is Sakshat. He is Hari as it is. Why is that as it is Hari? Because he is following his orders. Because he is doing what he wants. So, because he's doing what he wants, that is why he's as good as Hari. Just so just like the students in IIT, they are so students in IIT, they so when they take admission, they are called as IITian. So they are called as IITian. So that means they are as equal to IIT, isn't it? They belong to IIT. That's why they are called IITian. So Guru belongs to Krishna. That is why he is called as Hari. As simple as that. Patem Hari Bhavena Bhajet Shri Riva Tatpara. So just like Prabhupada mentions here, just like Lakshmi, she worships Lord Hari. Similarly, a woman should worship her husband as equal to Lord Hari. Now why is that? That's the whole question. Why a woman should worship husband as Lord Krishna? If suppose, I mean to say, if the husband is a non-devotee, then what do you do? That's the case there. If the husband is a non-devotee, then what do you do? Then there's a confusion. Then you might think, oh, my husband is not equal to Lord Hari. How is that possible? And then there are cases where the husband is a devotee. So in that case, you can worship the husband as equal to Lord Hari because he's following the instructions of God. But at the same time, if he's not so advanced, then what do you do? In those cases, what do you do? But there are many stories there is a story in Chaitanya Charitamrita, by the way, where in Chaitanya Charitamrita there was a female who used to carry her husband on a back. Why? Because her husband couldn't walk, he couldn't do anything. He was like crippled. Because why? Because he was having leprosy. all over the body. So somebody asked her, why you're carrying him to, why you're carrying him and where you're carrying him. So that woman told, he's my husband. I'm carrying him because he can't walk, and I'm carrying him to a prostitute center. That's where I'm carrying. So so people were amazed. People were like crazy. What's happening? But Srimati Radharani in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she quotes this incidence of this female and her husband. This is from Puranas, to prove that this is how we should be chaste to Krishna. So if we are chaste to Krishna, then we can attain him. Just like this female is chaste to a husband. Now, in this case, the husband is a non-devotee. He's not even a non-devotee. He wants, in spite of so much illness, he wants to go to prostitute to enjoy, and he is asking his wife to take him. So his wife is Pativrata. She followed this verse. Woman who engages in service of husband, following strictly in footsteps of goddess of fortune, in spite of the fact that her devotee is a non-devotee, and she became very powerful woman. She became a very powerful woman. In fact, when she was carrying a husband, the full story is she was carrying a husband, and there was a rishi, Animandave. He was he was actually punished by the king uh, for some theft. So there was some confusion in regard to theft. So he was punished without the knowledge of the king, that Rishi is being punished, because the ministers told, oh, actually, so we caught the thief. What to do? King said, okay, punish him. So they put him on a spear. A spear. They put him on the spear, and the spear went inside him from his back. So that is why his name was Ani Mandave. Ani means the back, anus, and Mandave means that spear went into his anus. But by but, but by his yogic shakti, he kept himself alive. So he was there hanging on the spear, and this female was taking this her husband in the dark, and she took her husband and she by chance hit the spear. Now she hit the spear, and people and he went crazy because there was a pain in his back. So he cursed the couple. In the morning time, this your husband will never see the sun. So she was like flabbergasted. She said, "What kind of curse is this? We are asking forgiveness from you, and you're cursing us." So so Animandave said, "Well, I'm cursing you. I'm cursing your husband because anyway, your husband is nonsense. He wants to take you to he wants him to take you to a prostitute." So better he dies. So she told, you have done a wrong thing, because I am a pativrata. I see Krishna in my husband, and I can't accept this curse. So I also curse Suryadev that he will not rise in the morning. So this was like a mess. So in the morning, the sun didn't rise. In the morning, the sun didn't rise. And there was such a confusion. And Animandave, he just went somewhere to do his meditation. So sun didn't rise till 11 o'clock. 12, 1, and the whole creation was in darkness. So Brahma came to Animandave, and he said, Animandave, open your eyes. Animandave opened his eyes and he said, my dear Lord Brahma, I'm so happy to have your darshan. How many thousands of years I have been meditating? He asked him, how many thousands of years I've been meditating? So Brahma said, well, you're stupid fool. You have been meditating just for last few hours. That's all, 7, 8, 9 hours, and not more than that. So, so he said, what happened? So where did you come? So he said, you fool, you curse that woman, and that woman is Pativrata. She's chaste wife. So her curse is applied. So there's no son and whole creation is finished. So you go and ask forgiveness. So Brahma and Animandavi, they went and searched for the woman, and he asked forgiveness, and he said, okay, I bless your husband to see next 1,000 sons. Don't worry about that. So you see the power of the chaste woman. So the question was, if the husband is a non-devotee, yes, you have to follow this principle. And if he's a half devotee, of course you have to follow. If he's a nonsense person, just like this person, a sinful man, still you must follow the instructions of the Lord. Now this might seem very contradictory. This might seem funny because this might seem funny because in the modern world, the females might say, well, this the husband can do anything and we should be chaste and we should serve him. This is not a good idea. The husband should be, first of all, he himself should have some standards and then we should serve. But that's not the case in scriptures. There are so many stories like that, where the husband is a non-devotee or a half devotee, and and uh, and the wife, she's chaste. Now the question is why it's like that? Why this rule is like that? This doesn't seem justice, isn't it? The husband is like he can do anything, and the wife must be chaste to him. It should be reverse also. The wife can do anything, and the husband should be chaste. It should be reverse also. Otherwise, it seems crazy, isn't it? It doesn't seem like a good option. But this is what is scriptures. So what's the logic? That's the question. What's the logic behind this kind of policy, which is this kind of injunction in the scriptures? Now, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, a man should be an ideal servant of Lord, and a woman should be an ideal wife, like goddess of fortune. A man should be an ideal servant of Lord, and the woman should be an ideal wife, like goddess of fortune. Then both husband and wife will be faithful and strong by acting together. They will return home back to God. Now, ideally, Srila Prabhupada mentions the man should be an ideal servant of Lord, and the woman should be an ideal wife, like goddess of fortune. But this doesn't happen like that in this kind of story which I quoted. This is ideal thing. So why scriptures are so hell bent? You have to be chaste wife, because the point is a wife which is chaste, she becomes very powerful according to scriptures. Now it doesn't matter the husband is a devotee, non-devotee. It doesn't matter. Wife should serve a husband, but the point is the husband should not stop his wife to do devotion. That's one condition. If the husband stops the wife from doing devotion and puts obstacles, then in that case, Prabhupada writes in one of the purport, the woman can leave the husband if it becomes extreme. But you see, Raman's wife, Mandodari, she was a chaste wife. She was Pativrata. Raman never stopped her from worshipping Vishnu. She was doing a devotion, but he was a nonsense. He was like a thief. He was a demon. Hiranyakashipu, who was that? Jalandhar's wife, Tulasi Devi. She was a great devotee of Vishnu. And because of her devotion for Jalandhar, demon, Vishnu couldn't kill him. And Vishnu said, I cannot kill this man, this demon, because his wife is a devotee and she is meditating on me to protect him. this was a pretty funny case. So how can I kill him? So he did a strategy. He went and Vishnu said the first point is she's doing devotion to me, but before that, more important is she's a chaste wife. So she has all power. She is following my injunctions in my scriptures, and that is why she has become powerful. So I'm unable to kill him. So what did Vishnu did? He took form of that demon Jalandhar, and and he went there. He took the form of the demon, and he went to his wife Tulasi, and he actually proposed her, and she was seduced, and that's how she became unchaste. Her papa got lost, and then Vishnu sent her his chakra to actually cut the head of Jalandhar. That's how it happened. So, so the conclusion is, if your husband is a demon, still you should be a chaste wife. So, why is that? God has made such kind of injunctions, and it's not in just in Bhagavatam. It is in Islam. It is in Christianity. It is actually all over the place. It is all over the place. So, 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 having said that, uh, we have to understand why God has made such kind of injunction, which looks quite injustice to us, especially in this modern age where female labor is there. Modern females, modern females, they it is so especially non-devotees, it will be very difficult for them to accept this fact. But why God has made like that? There is a reason for this. The reason is that Srila Prabhupada writes, in this way, they will automatically become devotees of Lord. The idea is mind control. The idea is sense control. Females naturally have attachment for the husband. Naturally, it is natural for the husband and child. It is very natural. So they can use this attachment to elevate in the service of Lord. That's what is actually required. They can use this attachment in the service of Lord. So how they can use? By actually serving the husband as a representative of God. So that way it will be very easy for them to attain God. Otherwise, Krishna says, Sriyo Vaishyatatha Shudra, Te api paramratim. So Krishna says, uh, uh, it is very difficult for Striyo, woman, Vaishya, Shudra, to attain me. But they can attain me. Te api anti paramratim. But they can attain me if they follow the if they follow the codes and conducts of the scriptures and if they serve their husband. That's the point there. So Madhvacharya quotes here: woman should think of husband as supreme lord, just as a disciple should think spiritual master as supreme personality of Godhead. For disciple, he should think guru as supreme personality of Godhead. That's okay, that you can understand. But the idea is, because disciple has surrendered to guru, that is why if he thinks guru as supreme personality of Godhead, he will accept his instructions as it is. A Shudra should think of Brahman as supreme personality of Godhead. A Shudra should think of a Brahman not in the name, but Brahman in the work, what he is doing. In the work he is doing, in that a Shudra should think of a Brahman as supreme personality of Godhead. A servant should think of his master as supreme personality of Godhead. And a servant, just like the subjects, should think of a king as supreme personality of Godhead. So this is all representative of supreme personality of Godhead. And they should serve him. You see, marriage in itself, it's a very, actually marriage is a samskar. Marriage is a samskar. Marriage is not something just a ceremony. Ceremony is different from a sanskar. Marriage is sanskar, and marriage, why it is called sanskar? Because when husband and wife are married, deep impressions are made on their mind uh, because they stay together and they live together and they share their lives together. And that is why you see any wife who is like who doesn't like her husband much and they just live together, but when the husband dies, she might go into depression, or she will have a tough time, because wife and husband are, each of them for each other, are half part of the body. That is why wife is called as ardhangani. There was a British scientist, he was like 90 years, and he was uh, so he was telling in his interview that when I lost my wife, it felt that I lost half of my body. Interesting, isn't it? I lost half of my body. So that's how this is, It's funny. So wife is considered as half of the body. So that is why if she takes care of the husband as part of her body, so just like we take care of the hand, part of the body, then Krishna is happy. Why? Because marriage, in the institution of marriage in itself produces deep impressions, and the husband and wife are knit together for entire life, actually, until death. And by the way, according to scriptures, uh, everyone everyone should take care of the person who take care of the person who is sheltered under him. So husband's duty is to take care of the wife, and wife's duty is to take care of the husband. That's how it goes. Hmm. So that is why woman should serve husband. Now there can be an argument there. Well, uh, this is funny because if the husband is a non-devotee, and if we think of him as supreme personality of Godhead, and we're living with him, we are ourselves so disturbed because of his actions. He might not disturb us, but he's doing sense gratification, and he talks nonsense. So it is very difficult to live with such a man. I mean to say, let alone serving him as God. That is crazy, and his demands will be complete utter nonsense if he's a non-devotee. He will say, okay, let's go and shop, let's go for a movie. But as a devotee, we don't want to do that. So what do you do then? Then what do you do? And that is why this whole question comes. In that situation, the woman thinks, okay, let's leave the husband. Anyway, he's not devotee and I can't cope up with him. And let's go to Vrindavan and do a bhajan. But that's not advised in scriptures. That is only advised when the husband tries to block the female by doing devotion and going towards Krishna. Otherwise, it's not advised. Otherwise, Mataji's females, they have to serve a husband at any cost. Now, but this rule is also there, made by Krishna. There's one more reason, so that marriages continue, marriages don't break. Because now the husband is not doing his own duty, the female is not doing his own duty according to dharma, and that is why scriptures are breaking. And that is why scriptures injunctions break, and that is why marriages break. People don't have faith in marriages don't continue. And when marriages break, then the whole society breaks, because the fabric of whole society is marriage. You see western countries, there's no marriage, they're all unmarried. Most of them are married, girlfriend, boyfriends, and then even after marriage they separate, and they're married twice, thrice, all females and males. So that whole society is completely messed up. The whole society is not to the mark. It is completely messed up. People are frustrated, people are not peaceful, people are unhappy, females are emotionally wrought, emotionally broken. Children are emotionally broken because the female had her first husband, second husband, third husband, and the child is singing, "Who is my father? What's happening?" Sometimes they don't know who is the father, and the child is left to her grandmother. The female then goes with some other man. It's completely messed up. The child is again psychologically broken. So that is why Krishna wanted marriage to continue at any cost. So he made this injunction like that. And Lakshmi ji showed the example. If female considers a husband as good as God, she will never leave him. In spite of the fact he might do some mistakes or whatever it is, she will never even think of leaving him. So it helps the society to create bonds and to create the foundation of the society. And at the same time, also, it makes the female strong. It makes actually being chaste makes the female strong and not weak. Now, argument is if we become chaste and if we serve the husband, then we'll not be able to achieve something in the society, and we will become, yeah, we'll not be able to we will not rise up in the society. We'll be dejected and subjected and suppressed. All these arguments are there, isn't it? Female live movement. But on the other hand, if you become chaste, you become strong. Your mental power becomes strong. Actually you get a lot of supernatural powers, just like this female who cursed the sun. That's actually Pativrata Stri. So this rule is made by God to actually protect the family, protect the husband, and protect the female, all of them. And a chaste wife becomes a chaste wife becomes a strong wife, and a strong wife becomes a strong mother. So she'll be able to actually also care for her children very nicely. So that's the point there. The point is the point is uh, we have to follow scriptures. We might not understand it logically sometimes because of our small knowledge, but nevertheless we must actually uh, follow scriptures at any cost, in spite of the fact that we can't understand the injunctions, in spite of the fact it doesn't make any sense. Because Srila Prabhupada said the trick to understand scriptures is to follow them. Like in introduction of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes, isn't it? Prabhupada writes why Krishna is giving this knowledge to Arjuna, because he is a devotee and a friend. So because Arjuna is a devotee, you see, because Arjuna is a devotee and a friend, that is why Krishna is giving knowledge to him. So then Prabhupada writes in introduction, so if you want to understand Gita, at least theoretically accept Krishna as Lord. And then we will be able to understand Gita. So, so actually there were some reporters who came to meet Prabhupada in Juhu. They came to meet Prabhupada in Juhu, and they were like asking, Krishna is supreme, and why Krishna is supreme, and Krishna said this in Gita, and we can understand. They were arguing. Srila Prabhupada said, before I give an answer, first accept Krishna as supreme. So they said, that's why we have come here to actually argue with you and then get proper answers about that's a doubt why Krishna is supreme, how Krishna is supreme. There are the supreme Shiva, Brahma, like Durga in India. So Prabhupada said, nonsense. Prabhupada said, I'll not talk to you. First, accept Krishna as supreme. So they said, this is what is this? We have asked to argue, we have asked to ask this doubt. And you are asking us to first accept Krishna as supreme. Prabhupada said, yes. First accept Krishna as supreme, and then I will explain to you how he is supreme. And then you will understand. Because if you have a doubt in mind that whether Krishna is supreme or not, all my arguments will be waste. You will not be able to accept, you will not be able to understand how he is supreme. And you will never accept him as supreme because your mind will always keep on doubting. So that's the point there. That's the point there. Scriptures, to understand scriptures, first we have to follow. And then we have to ask questions. Don't ask questions before following. We'll not be able to understand anything. So it's almost like swimming, you ask your instructor, why if I jump in the water, will I drown or not? How will I swim? How to balance in water? How to do floating? The teacher will not be able to tell you any damn thing. And even if he tells you, you'll not be able to understand anything. The teacher will say, instructor will say, okay, I'll explain you all these things, but first jump. He said, come on, first jump. If I jump, I'll drown. That's why I'm asking you. The instructor will say, no, first jump. And then when you will be drowning, then I'll tell you. And then you will be able to understand. And then I'll take you out. And then you will be able to understand what do you mean by floating and cycling and whatever it is, swimming, because you have never experienced water. And that is why I can't explain you anything. So just like we talk about love of God, because we have never experienced love of God, so nobody will be able to make us understand what is love of God. We can read theoretically some definitions, but practically we'll never be able to understand what is love of God. So yeah, we never understand what is love of God. So what to do? What to do in such a case? That the whole point is, don't try to understand love of God. Take some understanding. Yeah, you have to take some understanding. Why? To develop a desire to attain love, and then try to attain it. When you attain it, then you will be able to understand it automatically. Similarly, scriptures say the same thing. First follow it. Yeah, first read scriptures little bit, so that you have a desire to follow it, some basic things, and then you follow it. Then don't challenge, don't ask questions. You follow it, half of the questions will automatically be solved. Half of the questions will itself be solved. Rest half, when you follow, then you will have proper doubts. Without following, you will have nonsense doubts. Without following scriptures, our questions will be utterly useless. It will be childish. So even if we ask questions to some saint, it will be useless for us because it will be childish. But if we follow scriptures, then you will ask valid and good questions. Then valid and good questions we ask. And that is why first we should follow scriptures. That is why Prabhupada says a woman should serve a husband, first follow it, and then see the result. Prabhupada said, just follow Krishna consciousness and then see the miracle, then see the magic. So spiritual life is like that, by the way. Spiritual life is not a theoretical life. Just like chanting Hare Krishna. How do you know Hare Krishna is powerful? Chant Hare Krishna. So nobody will be able to convince you Hare Krishna is powerful just by theory. To a certain extent we can convince, but completely we cannot. So ultimately what is said, just chant and see for yourself. वो हिंदी में कहते थे ना, मेलेडी खाओ खुद जान जाओ, बस वही बात. So like that. So that is why. Sorry. So that is why, although this verse might seem very illogical to us in the modern age, and that is why people say scriptures are not applicable in the modern age. Many things must be changed and updated. But that's not the point. That's not the point. Nothing should be. Scriptures are eternal. That is why they are called Sanatana. Its instructions are valid for eternity. Just like 1 plus 1 is always 2 and will always be 2. It cannot be changed, at least in classical mathematics. So similarly, scriptures instructions cannot be changed according to time, place, circumstance. Some exceptions might be there to these injunctions in the modern age, but the injunction itself cannot be changed, and it should be followed. as it is. It should be followed as it is. So that is why this verse is very important to this verse is very important so that we can I mean to say it's so it's the other way around also. Krishna by actually putting such kind of things into scriptures, he also tests our faith. That's another thing. So there was one Sikh guru. He was actually they were like he wanted to make a successor. So one of the Sikh guru, I forgot his name. I think he was so I think he was Guru Amar Singh. I think so. So he asked four of his disciples to actually make a wall. Three of them were there to make a wall separately. So they made the wall, and then he asked them to break it. And then again he asked them to make break. So two of them flipped. They said my guru has gone mad. The third disciple, he kept on making, kept on breaking. It was like 21 times he made the wall, 21 times he broke, and still he didn't get frustrated. So Amar Singh said, next guru will be this boy. Why? Because he was following the instructions without applying his logic. Logically, it was complete nonsense. That's why two people left. But he knew that, okay, if I follow this instruction nicely, later Guru will tell me the logic, why he was saying. So then Guru told, I was testing your dedication and your faith on my instruction. And then he understood, oh, this is the logic. And the two other people who left, they left. So even if they understood the logic, they could do anything. They failed. So that's the point there. So you see the point. This is why scriptures. It's not. Yeah, Krishna says so many things in scriptures, both ways, to help us and to test our faith. Actually, faith means actually if you logically understand something, and then you follow, then that's not faith, isn't it? That is you did some research and then you follow. That is your logic and your own intelligence. But faith is you follow even if you don't understand. That is real faith. But that doesn't mean that you like all these sahajas will say, oh yeah, we don't read philosophy. Krishna says you chant, we chant. Krishna says you live in Vrindavan, we live in Vrindavan. So according to your statement, then we should not read philosophy or what? Yes, you should read philosophy. You should try to understand things, but you should try to understand things not to actually cancel your faith, but to nourish your faith. But faith has to be there. Adav Shraddha Tata Sadhusam. First is faith, and then is philosophy, understanding, and sadhusam. Because without faith, we'll not be able to even imbibe the philosophy and digest the philosophy. So that is why these kind of verses we find in scriptures. And I mean to say, there is one more reason. An atheist, a demoniac person will never read these scriptures. So these instructions are also there in the scriptures so that atheist, they themselves become defaulter. I mean to say, not atheist, but but a hardcore atheist, a demoniac people who are actually anti to God. When they read such things, they will become more anti to Him, and they will leave reading scriptures and leave devotees also in peace. Otherwise, they will disturb them. So that is why there are so many reasons why these kind of verses are found in Bhagavatam, especially. I mean to say, this kind of verse can be put in Dharma Shastras, Mahabharata. But why in Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam is Paramahamsa Shastra. It should not be there. But in Bhagavatam, it should be all about love. But that's the whole point. This verse is quoting about Actually, this verse is using the instruction of this verse is not that wife should serve the husband. Whole time I was speaking this, but that's not the point there in this verse. Because this point, wife should serve the husband and be chaste. This point should be in some Dharma Shastra and not in. You can read Dharma Shastra to understand this point, but you don't require Bhagavatam for this. Bhagavatam is trying to give this example to actually make us understand that just as a woman engages in the service of her husband, Lakshmi does in the service of Vishnu, we should be chaste to Krishna. That's the message there. Bhagavatam is using this example to help us connect with God. But nevertheless, the value of this example doesn't go down. This chastity of the woman doesn't go down because simply it's an example. No, the idea is because it is the example is used to is compared to devotion to God. You can understand how important should be the example itself. So it goes both way rounds. So Bhagavatam is Paramamsa Shastra and it encompasses. Bhagavatam uses all these examples of Dharma Shastras to help us connect with God and also to actually, there's one more reason, to also actually help just a wife who is not chaste, she will not be able even to do devotion properly. That's not possible because she breaks the rules of Dharma. Even a devotion will be lax to Krishna because if she can't be chaste to her husband, how can be chaste to God? I mean, to say until unless she leaves the husband because husband is trying to block her, that's another thing. Or she's divorced, or her husband dies and then she comes to Vrindavan or whatever it is, widow. There are many widows in Vrindavan. That is a separate issue. But if we don't follow dharma, we will have problems in bhakti. That's a point. That's one of the points. That is why such kind of religious instructions are given in Bhagavatam. Because following religious instructions will make your mind peaceful, and then you will be able to devote to Lord Krishna very nicely. That's the whole point there. Okay, so I think I'll stop there. Any questions? Any comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble
Hare
obeisances.
Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for very such a detailed class. I think this class was really helpful for me, where I had so many questions going on in my mind, but I got the answer for a few questions which I was expecting for a long time. Thank you so much for this class, Prabhuji. And yeah, so the takeaway is like, as you said in the story, I think that lady name is Savitri Bai. I don't know. I guess the
Which
chaste
Savitri?
wife. The chaste wife.
Yeah, Savitri.
Okay.
Savitri.
So whether the husband is devoted or not, we should follow the chaste wife.
Yeah.
Be all powerful.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for the class, Prabhuji. We have a hand raise. Yes, Rakesh Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you mentioned, like we need to develop faith, but how should we develop such a strong faith in our in the instructions of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra?
Well, developing faith is by having faith. There is no other way. There is no shortcut, by associating with people who are having strong faith. Then we can develop strong faith. There is no other way. So association is necessary in that way. Or we can read the leelas of great devotees, how they had faith in their Guru. Like Prabhupada had faith in Bhaktisiddhanta. So then we can develop like that.
Thanks, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Shivakumar Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranams, Prabhu.
Hare.
Thank you. for today's class, Prabhu. Prabhu, one question, Prabhu. You spoke about the faith and the role of logic in faith, which is very important and insightful. But the challenge that I face, Prabhu, in material world, for the work or for the general interactions, we predominantly operate by logic and reasoning. But and so it becomes difficult to kind of apply faith just for the spiritual life for it, Prabhu, while we are in this world is one thing. And the extension of it, Prabhu, one thing that I see in my experience is as I kind of take up the devotion little seriously, it seems there are more and more reversals coming up. And that also kind of challenges the faith itself. So I just wanted to hear some words from you, Prabhu.
Well, when we follow devotion, there'll be more reversals. That's okay. That actually sometimes increases our faith if we see in a proper perspective. And all these obstacles are helping me to actually become more strong than before. But it's difficult, I know. And that is why when there are reversals, then our faith, dwindles like a ship in the storm. But and this time, that is why in these kind of time, we need some friends, we need some devotees who are having good faith in Supreme Lord, and they can help us navigate in these times. There is no other way. That is why Mahaprabhu said, Paramijate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Sankirtanam. So association of devotees is required in these kind of situations. That's where importance comes of association of good devotees. But if we don't have as good devotee association, then this time will collapse. Until unless if we are ourselves not so strong enough. So that's the whole point. Please, we should see the situation.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
I can see Parth Prabhu raised hands.
Prabhuji, what is difference between faith, having faith and keeping blind faith? Like there are two words, like having blind faith on someone and having faith.
No, there are like Prabhupada said, scriptural faith or blind faith. Prabhupada said that. So blind faith is actually somebody says something and you follow without understanding the authority. But scriptural faith is you understand the authority and then follow without understanding. So we understand the authority of scripture, isn't it? It is valid, it is bona fide, and it is followed by many rishis. So then you follow, then that's not blind faith, that is real faith. A guru, he's having authority, he's pure, and you choose a guru, and then you have faith. But blind faith is you don't consider any authority, any person says anything, okay, we agree. Or some book says something, we agree. We don't validate the source. And you don't validate the source, then it becomes blind faith. When you validate the source, then it becomes faith.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Very nicely said, Prabhuji. So yes, I just remember that, like you were saying in the class, like the drowning man. So first you go down, jump in the well, know how to swim, and you can, of course, so that has a very nice meaning in that, very in-depth meaning in that analogy which Prabhupada always gives. Yeah, we see the raise hands. Priyanka Nagar Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much. Thank you so much for a very nice class. Prabhuji, you are establishing Varnashram and we learn things about duty, what duty wives has. We are learning and but you know our surroundings are not like that. We live in such a surrounding that they are the cultural values are going down and down. And I'm thinks many times then how it will be kept in future. How Varnashram is established in future, because things are not really in good condition. It's going to worst condition. Then what happened with our kids? They will be marry or not marry? We don't know.
Well, you see, Varnashram, it'll take time to get established, isn't it? It might take 1 generation, 2 generation, 3 generation. It's not easy to do that. Till that time, we do Krishna consciousness, plain Krishna consciousness, and then lead a life. That's all. Because world is itself in a chaos. Who knows what will happen next? So some people who are trying Varnashram, we can help them, but we don't expect great results soon. That's the whole point. Until unless Krishna does some revolution and something happens, this will not be like this.
Even in India nowadays, divorces are going so many high rates in a respected families also, not in a cultural families also. This is happening.
Yeah.
So that I'm thinking what will be in future.
No, so that is why Prabhupada said that establish Varnashram, but until Varnashram established, people will suffer. That's all. That's going to happen. What to do? And so there might be world war. Half of the people will get wiped off. That can also happen. Don't think what will happen. There are innumerable possibilities what will happen. You might die. So then it's over. And you might go to back to Godhead or whatever. Then there's no question of what will happen. What will happen? That will happen on the earth. So takes time, you see. It's good to think like that, but not to overthink about this.
I was thinking that Kali Yuga age is 3,27,000, but it looks like it's gone.
No, there are more worse thing happening in Kali Yuga. It's the beginning.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, we have one more raise hand, Prabhu, Rakesh Prabhu. I think he
Hare
wants.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Like you said, like sometimes the source is valid, but there could be some customs which we are blindly following. Like, for example, like when someone is going out and if someone sneezes, there is a age-old custom at my home actually. My mother says when someone sneezes, wait for some more time, or if a cat crosses your uh, like your way, then we were asked to stop. So these are certain blind beliefs, or these are beliefs, Prabhuji. So the source is again it's valid. Like it's our like nears and dears who are well wishers. So in that
No, but
case, like
that is not a valid source, no? Somebody can accept something blindly and it's being passed off like that. It's not a valid source.
so, how do we challenge these kind of things, Prabhuji? Like
Well, yeah, you have to validate the source. You can ask them from where it is. People say, so, but that's not the
yeah,
validity,
people
no?
say, but they come up with the same answer, saying that okay, people say, and it has been told by the ancestors, and it has been same way passed out to us.
No, it's not necessarily the same way past. Things might change in between, no? There are so many, just like Krishna told Vrajvasis, why are we worshipping Indra? Vrajvasis tell, well, it's a custom. Krishna says, you're a fool, you know what? It can forget this custom, worship Govardhan. This custom doesn't make any sense. So there's so many customs which doesn't make any sense, which have been changed or misinterpreted with time. So we can't accept it as it is.
Got you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So I think there is a question in the chat. Yeah, there is a question, Prabhuji. So Radha Jyoti Mataji is asking. Before that, I think Priti Mataji is having some question. Is it recommended to take Diksha if husband or family is not a devotee and forcing wife to cook non-veg and because of her sadhana?
Is it
Is it recommended to take Diksha, initiation?
well, you have to ask your counselor. We can't say anything. It's different for different gurus, and so you should ask. But Srila Prabhupada's wife, she was making non-veg. Sometimes it depends case to case. We can't say
Sister,
anything.
right, Prabhuji? Prabhupada's
Huh?
sister.
Yeah,
Prabhupada's
sister.
sister, right?
Prabhupada's sister, yeah, she was making
But did
non-veg.
she remain till the end like that only? Means like her husband remained like that only till end?
Yeah. She was making fishes.
Hmm.
And Srila Prabhupada said she was a pure devotee.
Okay. And next question is Radha Jyoti Mataji is asking why Shastra speaks so strongly about women and not so when it comes to men. Could you please teach on this?
Well, the whole lecture was on this. No, so strongly about women. Well, scriptures also speak strongly about men, but not in the case of marriage. In so many other cases, no. So it's not a issue to say in marriage scriptures speak about female so strongly and not male. But the whole idea is scripture speaks so strongly for females because female is the center of the family. If she collapses, the family collapses. So she should be very strong. That is why scripture speaks strong to them. So just like a teacher might be very heavy on a boy, and people might think, oh my God, the teacher is so heavy on the boy. Why is heavy on the boy? Because he likes the boy and he wants that that boy should come first in the class. So similarly, Krishna understands the whole family rests on female, and she should be on right track. That is why he speaks so strongly out of love. That's all.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. So I don't find any more hand raise or questions in the chat box. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this very explained class.
Okay.
Okay, there is one question just arrived in the chat box. Himangi Gopeshwari Mataji is asking if the husband is sinful and wife has to be chaste. It feels it would be impossible for the women to concentrate on sadhana or on the family depending on the severity of her situation. How would you
I can
suggest?
understand. Can you summarize? I can understand.
Yeah. So actually, Mataji is asking if the husband is sinful and wife has to be chaste. I think this also you discussed in the class, Prabhu.
Yeah.
But what Mataji is asking is, it feels impossible for the wife to concentrate in sadhana, or depending on the coping up with the family situation.
So if it's an extreme case, then you please ask your senior devotees and take a step. That's all.
Okay.
It's case to case. We can't say anything because every female will think it's extreme. So who decides what's extreme? So I think it's case to case. As far as possible, we should try to adjust. That's all. That's the general norm.
So that's what, as soon as the class started itself, you said about the lady, the Savitri lady.
Yeah.
The wife was not at all, sorry, the husband was not at all coping, but she was very chaste. But in this age of Kali, it's really very difficult, Prabhu. That's why we are having repeated questions of the same.
Yeah,
even if the class was on this, but we are having the same questions because of this Kali Yuga, because each one is having different mentality. They are not ready to cope up with anyone. So that's why all these are happening, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll end up there.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. I don't find any more questions or hand raise. Okay, with your permission, we'll end the call here. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, once again for giving us this.
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वैष्णववृंद की जय। राधे राधे।
Thank you so much, devotees.
Thank you, Gauranga.
राधे राधे।